Hi, friends. It's Michelle Ladd with National Veteran Resources, and I'm so honored today. I have my friend Don, and Don is a Vietnam veteran, and I am in Leisurewood Recreation
Community.
Community in Akron, New York. And today, my friend Dan invited me to come and talk to a whole bunch of veterans
That are going to be here this weekend.
that are going to be here this weekend, and they
Yeah.
put it in the newspaper and on the Facebook page that
Right.
that I was going to be here with the Hero Mobile. And I met Don a few weeks ago
Yeah.
on my first visit, and he shared some of his story with me. And I asked him, I've already had a visit from quite a few veterans, all Vietnam veterans,
Yeah. Yeah.
and most of them share their stories but don't want to go on camera with me, and that's absolutely okay. But I begged Don to share his story with me. And so we're just going to spend a few moments and hear his story. Um, I want to thank you so much for your services.
I thank you.
And I thank you so much for the honor of sharing your story with me and my friends, and to help us understand what you went through as a Vietnam veteran.
Okay.
So you served in the Army.
I served in the Army. I served in the Air Force.
That's right. You told me that.
I started out active duty in the Air Force, okay, as a fuel system technician specialist,
Yes.
okay, and I would be working on different aircraft with different pumps, probes, check valves, sealing tanks, all that kind of stuff for the United States Air Force. My story is about a B-57 Nighthawk. A lot of people don't even recognize a B-57 Nighthawk, but they did use them in Vietnam for taking pictures. Okay, and what had happened is that he was having trouble with the number one boost pump behind the pilot, which is in a small access door. And what we have to do is go on the inside because there's a hump in the middle of the aircraft, and fuel sits on both sides of that. So what we have to do is take a measurement of the fire safe, air safe, and if we have to, we get an air conditioner and we open all the ports and blow all the gases out, okay? And my TI or trainer, ours wasn't firing up, so he sent me over to order another air conditioning unit. And when I did, I turned around and he wasn't there. I couldn't see him. So I looked across the airfield and I didn't see him walking across there. So I went to the aircraft, touched what they got is a static ground plate. So your static electricity in your body doesn't ignite the fuel. Okay? So I went up there and he was in the tank. He had his arm up over his head. And I said to him, John, you don't belong in there. And his arm dropped and he fell back. Okay. I got off the aircraft. I went out to the field because there were some crew chiefs and stuff out there. I told him to go get ambulance, and I need the rest of you come with me. I have a man down in a B-57 Nighthawk fuel tank. So they all followed me back. I said, take your rings, your watches, your uniform, keep pants and socks, but anything that's metal you got to do away with. So they touched the static plate. We went up there, and when it got up there, he had fallen back into the tank. His head was under 9 inches of JP4 jet fuel, which is a high flammable fuel, okay? And the vapors are really strong. So I told everybody what had to be done. So when I did that, I went into the tank, and I tried to pull him up, but he was so slippery from the fuel. I finally got him up, but then being the hump there, and his head was in 9 inches of fuel, so I was trying to keep that up. So he, but he hadn't been, who knows how much he took in of the fuel. Okay. So we got him up, and I told him, I says, I got to bend his legs. So when you start pulling, don't stop. I have to bend his legs so he can go up through the access door. So they started pulling, and his pants got stuck on the access door. So they couldn't pull him up. So in the meantime, I was trying to get him in another position so he'd pop. And I got my shoulder underneath him, and I pushed, and he finally popped out. And in the process, I couldn't hold my breath any longer. So I took in the too. But I was sitting right at the access door. So once they got him out, then they had to get me out. Okay, because I totally went unconscious too. So in the process, the fumes burnt the inside of my nostril and my lungs, okay, causing damage. And I haven't smelled anything in over 40 years.
Wow.
Okay. And they said, your lungs are probably going to get worse as it goes. And it has. So between all that and being in the hospital for almost a month in the Philippines, okay, and then plus they took me off of that and they had to put me in the mail room. And that wasn't me. I wanted to be with making sure the crews, you know.
Right.
Okay, and with that, being in the hospital, I kept asking about John, but they'd never tell me what happened to the man that I pulled out of that aircraft. So I don't know if he survived or what had happened with him. And I've been out there trying to find him. And his name is John King. So,
Let me put a plea out there.
okay.
Friends, we're looking for John King. And what year would he have been serving?
That would have been around 1967, 68 in Philippines.
1967, 68 in the Philippines. What was the
Fuel system technician specialist.
fuel system technician specialist? We're not even sure whether he survived. You know, these videos have brought my heroes the friends that they hadn't seen in 40 years.
Right, right.
So you never know if we can
Get a
find John.
response from, right.
Do you know anything further about him?
No, it's just that I have a lot of problem with the COPD and my breathing. I'm in and out of the hospital quite a bit. In fact, I was just in there the other night.
I know.
And they keep working on it and giving me different medicines and stuff like that. And they finally just changed the medicine, wanted to go stronger. So we'll see what happens after that, if that's going to help. And then with John and that, I have a lot of dreams over that.
Oh, you do.
Okay.
Sure.
And plus, I have, in fact, the wife and I don't sleep together anymore. Okay. We have our own separate beds in the same room, but she can't be near me because I'm either going to punch her or I'm going to kick her. Okay.
All these years.
All these years.
Nothing has changed.
No. And it's just, I just have dreams that, you know, things that are going on, or even about that accident and stuff like that. And then the other fear comes into play without breathing or smelling. If there's a fire in the place, I can't smell it. And if there's a gas leak, I can't smell it. So I have to depend on her all the time. But there's times that I wake up during the night and I got to go check the house out to make sure there's no smoke in the house and stuff. So it makes it really hard, even when you're doing things, to be able to know what's going on. So that's all with my breathing, and everything started at that time. And then I turned around and I spent 19 years with helicopters after that. And I operated a 4-year part for the brigade out of the 10th Mountain Division. And I made quite a few honors and stuff like that. So I was proud of that, and I was proud of serving my country again. So it was nice. So that's pretty much my story, unless, you know, you have anything else you'd like to ask.
You actually got in some trouble, didn't you, for going back after him?
Yes,
I
because
remember you telling me that.
right, what happened was because it was in a fuel hangar and it was a special built aircraft for taking pictures and stuff. What happened was they wanted to court martial me for going in after him.
I remember you telling me that.
And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, how can you put a price on a human life? I'm more or less saying this to myself, you know. That's just, do what you got to do, but I'm telling you, that's the way it went down, and that's what happened. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And the gentleman was a black man. Yeah. And nobody will ever say that, you know, I'm against them.
Oh, no.
You know, and to this day, I'd still like to know if I could find out what happened to him.
What was the date of the accident?
I'd have to go back.
Ish?
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Month-wise, maybe?
Oh, I can't even do that.
Okay.
It's been,
well, if anybody out there that's hearing this story knows of a John King that may have served
In the Philippines.
in the Philippines in that year, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find him.
Right.
You know,
I
find
hope.
out what
or
his
family.
family.
They could let me know if he survived or if he didn't. And
So all these years, you've never
Never
you tried
seen
to
him
save
again.
his life, and you to this day,
right,
40 something years later,
right,
you don't know whether he survived or not.
right. And they tried to tell me different places to go, and I go there different places to look, and I just can't find him.
You never know with the social media nowadays.
I
People
know.
are finding children and lost ones, and
Mhm.
and you know, service members that they served side by
Right.
side with, and they're
Right.
finding them. So
Right.
I would be so honored if we could find out what happened to him, if he's still if he's still surviving, and
Right,
and bring
right.
you guys together. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I'd love it.
I'm going to pray about that because I think that would bring you so much peace to know.
Yes. And one way or another, I'd like to know. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very, for his head to be in the fuel itself. They said that his chances were, they tell me afterwards that he probably didn't make it. But it was still always the thought maybe he did.
You don't know what state he was from or anything.
No,
Okay.
because it happened and I never
Mhm.
got back to him. And
Okay.
so,
Guys, if you're hearing this, this was over 40 years ago, and he still suffers with the memories.
oh yeah.
And, I talk to men and women of all ages, of all eras. Some of them just transitioned out of the military, and they're trying to deal with just transitioning. And I interviewed World War II veterans.
hmm
And the World War II veterans, right on up, have stories. And so my message is of hope and faith.
Yes. And I
And-
can back that with 100% saying for the younger soldiers, there's always a church and there's always the number one. And he's up
That's
there.
right.
And if they go back to that, that would help you 100%.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Because my message, this is my ministry.
hmm
And sometimes even I forget to say, I always say God bless at the end of each of my videos. But God is the way,
Right.
isn't he?
Yes.
And that's where you can find peace.
And there's so many families now that don't use it.
Yeah, I know.
And it's soothing because eventually you get to talk to people and you're back in the comforts of the people,
That's right.
okay? And you get to meet so many different people and understand more and more and get your own comfort.
That's right.
And that's why I'm glad I was able to do this with you.
And I'm so glad you're here. And actually, Don has a son that served,
hmm
and his son reached out to me, and we talked a little bit. And I recently talked to him on the phone,
hmm
and he may be brave enough to come and talk to me again.
I
And
hope
he
so.
said he might even get on video with me. I hope he does, but if he doesn't, it's okay.
hmm
But I'd sure love to help him.
Right, right.
He's the younger generation,
Yes,
and
yes,
he was a pleasure to talk to.
right. And you haven't had a chance to talk to my daughter,
Oh,
who also
no,
served,
that's right.
and she was with a trucking company out of Rochester,
Oh,
right there at the airport. And she actually went to ground zero,
wow.
and she had to work down in the pit for a week or so.
Oh,
Then they transferred her out, and then she had to do guard duty on the bridges. Okay. Then she was called to duty and went to Kuwait and was driving a 10-ton with ammunition, and it was hit with an RPG, and she lost 45% of her hearing in both ears. And she's a single mom.
oh my goodness. Where does she live?
She lives right up here in Harris Hill on Connection Drive.
Tell her to come on out.
I'm trying to get her to come out, and hopefully she does.
Tell her
So,
I'm here till Sunday, and I'd love to meet her.
I would, yes.
Okay, awesome.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Everyone wants to hear the stories
Right,
and
right.
try to understand what you guys went through.
Mhm.
And
And that's another reason why I built the scooter.
the scooter's awesome. I
Yeah.
took a picture of it, and I
Yeah.
took pictures of you, and then it was by the Hero Mobile. Randy just said it looks like the Hero Mo scooter or something.
Right,
As we're
right.
matching. Yours is lovely.
Yeah.
I love that you did that. And
Yes.
the whole world has just seen pictures of it.
Good. I'm glad. And hopefully people could do it too.
They can.
Yes.
They want to, they can.
Oh, yeah. It's support for everybody that's out there.
We need to show our support.
You're right.
That's right.
I'll
So,
go to that.
well, thanks so much.
You're
It's been
welcome.
a pleasure.
and it's
I'm
been my pleasure.
thanks. I'm glad you have, a lot of you guys don't want to get on video, but I'm glad you did.
Okay.
I coerced you
Well, a little bit.
a little
but
bit. I'm like,
I guess I did okay.
you did great. Thank you so much. They're going to
Yes.
say goodbye.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
God bless you. Thank you so much
And
for
take
watching.
care, guys.
Take care. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah.
All right. God bless.
Bye.
Thanks, Don.
Yep.